Way to be loud.
Sorry, turned
Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This was the state of New Mexico, indivisible, and perpetually May be seated. Mr. President, members of the board, Decker will be here, I'm sure. So if we can move that down just a little bit when they get here. We do have another presentation. Well, you know what, can we do this? Can we do our principal reports because real fast? Is that okay with everybody? Yes. Let's start with Ms. Lochner.
Sure. So we're off to a great start at the elementary school. Our enrollment is at 211, and I feel like every day we get a new kindergartner, so eventually we'll be all filled up. We have a new second grade teacher, Marlon Burton, this year, who's done an amazing job, and then 3 new kindergarten EAs, Desiree Gomez, Ginger Nunn, and Ari Geist, and they are just positive and wonderful and have been a great addition to our campus. We had several great trainings to start the school year. I want to say thank you to Rebecca Norris, who gave us U-Fly training, which is super helpful. And then we have a grant from NMSU for most trainings. So we had several teachers trained in a math after school program. So that'll be fun starting in September. Our PBIS plan is in full swing. We had our first class of the week, Miss Solace class, and the kids got to help with announcements and say the pledge and everything. And they're just so cute walking down the hallway, all proud of being the first class of the week. 2 of our staff members got some pretty big grants from Teach Otero. Bonnie Lucero has flexible seating grant, so she got lots of boxes in, and it was like Christmas in her classroom. They opened everything. They've got stools and cushions and wobble seats and all kinds of fun things, so kids can be comfortable and focused while they learn.
Recording in progress.
And then Michelle Calderera got a grant so she can welcome community members into her classroom. They have lots of books, and then it'll help pay for their background check so they can come in and read to the kids. And then our campus received 2 big grants, one for Lego Robotics. So it's the same as what we did last year, and then one that's an outdoor learning grant. So we'll have aeroponics, aquaponics, a fall garden. NMSU is helping with butterfly garden, story walk, and all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll have lots of fun stuff for you to come visit and see us on Fridays. All the fun stuff that we're doing for our clubs and for the house system. And that's everything for TES.
Dr. Rockmore. Everybody here, this is Dr. Anna Marie Miramontes Rockmore. She's our new intermediate principal, and she has this presentation tonight and a principal report.
Yes, on my principal's report, thank you for welcoming me to Tularosa. I've had a wonderful beginning of the school year. We have preschoolers in our building who are learning to carry a lunch and walk to the table and are doing a wonderful job. Aside from that, I do want to recognize my custodial staff that did a lot of the legwork that we never see. And so I wanted to give them a special recognition this evening. I wanted to start out with Mr. Tim Mendez, if he's here. I believe he's not here. Mr. Mendez. I know you were here in the summer, and thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Alton Nastasio. Alton is occupied this evening. I will make sure he gets that. Mr. Ernie Brusuelas. And Mr. Antonio Fierro. I just can't say enough of what these guys do. They always say yes, they make it happen, and I'm so appreciative of them. And thank you for the opportunity to speak.
And you guys, thank you guys. You guys do an amazing job, and we don't do enough. I'm glad Dr. Rockmore did this, because we don't do enough to recognize you guys and how much we appreciate everything you do. So, we're gonna make sure we start doing a better job recognizing you guys. And thanks for coming, taking the time out of your life. We really appreciate you guys. Mr. Burke.
All right. Middle school is going good and strong. We've had over 25 students enrolled at the middle school. So our enrollment right now is up to over 220 students. We've got now almost 90 kids in 7th grade. So we're 88 students. So we are getting full. Our room at the middle school is getting tighter each day. As the 6th grade has moved over to the middle school, we're having a little bit of challenges with lockers and getting kids all their lockers and everything, but it's nothing that we can't work through and work forward with. The students, visit with the students every morning, every day, throughout the day. They seem to be enjoying the school over there, or the 6th graders being over there. So I hope you're hearing some good news at home from your children. So we're going, all right. We do have the Ron Clark Academy next, or I'm sorry. So sorry. It is not the Ron Clark Academy. It is the Tularosa Wildcat Pride Academy. We're going to be rolling out next week. Some of you parents out there, I just sent out a robocall, a voice recorded robocall. I hope you guys get it, and I hope it sounds okay. If it's too much, let me know. I can tone it down a little bit, or if it's not too much, I can pick it up a little bit. All right. I also did post our modified schedule for next week for all the activities that we're going to be doing the celebrations on getting the houses started and separating the kids into the houses and everything. So we have a lot of activities next week. Okay. The middle schoolers are great kids, so we're having a lot of fun over there. We have volleyball tryouts going on right now with Ms. Armijo and the 7th grade coach. So they are there from about 4 o'clock until 5:45 with almost 35 kids, right? In about 18, 20 kids in each grade level. So 19, 17. So we got quite a bit of students, student athlete ladies over there trying out for volleyball. So we got that going. So that's all I have to say about the middle school. We're doing good.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Burke.
Yes, sir.
Not you, I'm sorry. He just reminded me of the lockers. We probably need to get a company over there and refurbish our lockers. A bunch of lockers are sticky, and some of the combinations have been lost over the years, and some of the little handles are really hard to push up. Some of them I literally had to stand up and pull them up myself. And see, the kids aren't thinking they can get the locker, but we just need to spend a little.
Is the number of lockers available?
Excuse me?
Is the number of lockers that are available?
There are enough lockers available.
Okay.
We just had to go back and find the most recent book that we had with locker combinations with Liz, that 1994.
No,
Little
it was 80.
refurbishing.
It was 81.
No, the building was built in
No,
81.
no, I found the records for 1981 for the locker.
Oh, okay. So we actually have that book in the office. We're going back with all the locker combinations. So, yeah. So some of these kids are like, wait, 81? And they're counting how old that is. So yeah. So it's not that we don't have enough lockers. It's just we don't have locker combinations for them. The mechanisms in them are just shot. We have 4 or 5 lockers where we've tried to get keys to open it, and there's a key busted inside the locker. So so that's our biggest challenge right now is the lockers. Other than that, the students are getting adjusted to the dismissal times, and the lunch is a little bit interesting. We're having to split up some of the 7th grade, split them between the 6th grade and 8th grade. So, because the cafeteria we're full for breakfast. Okay,
Yeah.
it is full. So, however, that's our biggest challenge right now is the lockers. So,
We have to do the same thing at the intermediate school with the bleachers in the gym. Apparently they're electric. Mr. Brusuelas is back with us, and he remembers how they used to work, and that he's checking them out. The stuff's not there, so they can't even put the bleachers back against the wall to clean under them or get them out of the way. And so we're gonna have to do that too. So that's another thing we found.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Burton. Miss Hill, we're gonna be picking on you a few times tonight, so you might as well sit up here.
Pretty much all of you guys go and do your locker combinations for Daniel.
So the high school got off to a really good start this year. I was super nervous that we were forgetting something, but I have an amazing staff and it's just kicked off. We did a later start time for kids at 8:30 and it's actually working out like super well. Like kids are just kind of relaxed coming in and it's not like this frenzy at 7:50 in the morning. So fantastic job. I have to give props to like Sergio and Chance and Lynn and Diana. They just like go exactly where they need to. Our EAs have just like picked up and are like, yes, we will help no matter what. Like they just kind of like fell into place and they do the things. So amazing stuff. We just want to give out some shout outs tonight. First off is our FFA chapter has been recognized as a national chapter, ranked as a 1-star, and they're actually going to be recognized at National FFA Convention, and it'll be in session 2. So like our kids actually get to go up and receive a national award. And then Raquelin Burke is being recognized for her American, I want to say national all the time, her American degree, which is the highest honor that an FFA member can receive.
Wow.
And so she'll actually be getting recognized with just her at nationals as well. And then our yearbook students have been recognized by Jostens with their National Yearbook Award. So they'll actually know about that on Monday. And when we start our 0-hour classes, Senora's Multicultural Club, we actually applied for a grant last year with PED. And they came back and they were like, you guys didn't get it. And then all of a sudden they were like, hey, do you guys still need this money? And we were like, yes. And so they were like, here's $15,000. So we'll actually send that to you guys to get approval when we get the formal acceptance letter. And then I just want to give a shout out to Chris Cooksey and Miss Sullivan. She was a former teacher in Tularosa. They had a huge fundraiser a couple of weekends ago. And they actually took all of the money they raised and bought gift cards. So we were able to like raffle gift cards to teachers and to staff. And they brought me, this awesome teaching thing that we, what is it called? I'm so nervous. Anyway, all of my administrators when I was in school had one in their office. And so when they were raffling it off, I was like, I hope I win this because like I'm an administrator now. And so they actually ended up bringing it to me and giving it to me. Chris and his mom have just been absolutely amazing. Like they brought a whole case of apples today because our kids are just always hungry, and we put them in Miss Portillo's room and they just grab them. And so I just want to give a shout out to Chris and his mom for that amazing stuff that they do. And it's not just my staff that they're looking out for, it's like the entire district. So that's all that's happening at the high school. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Here, when we get to the handbook a little bit, we're gonna pick this on. Public comment. Is anybody here for public comment not for just the 6th grade sports? Because the 6th grade sports people want to talk, when we get to that part, we want you to have that opportunity to talk and ask questions. I talked to President Bartram about that. That way we're not just going to give you the 2 minutes and cut you off and never say nothing else. You can ask questions and we can go back and forth. Because I want you to know that we're open to everything and it's not just, are you guys good with that? I think it'll be easier and make the conversation go a little better when we get to there, if you're okay with that. Yes, ma'am.
Do you want public comments now?
No, I'm gonna wait till we get to that point.
Oh, okay.
Some board meetings, they would let somebody have 2 minutes right now, and then we'll cut you off, and then the board will discuss it, but this board is so open, they want to hear what you have to
He
say,
has a comment that's not related to that.
and then I want those comments right now.
Oh, okay.
That's not related to.
Yes. Okay, so I just have a question,
Okay.
and then I apologize to Mr. Burke for not asking you this myself, but since we're here, I'm gonna ask it. Where are we on hiring staff that's filled with or positions that's filled with like long-term subs? For example, like our science, but I think we have someone hired for that. I think that's what you said. But I guess my concern is with all the new students that have come to us just in these last few days, our sped has jumped so much. And our sped teachers, I'm really afraid we're gonna end up losing the really good sped teachers that we have because they are literally running around like a chicken with their
Ms.
head
Mueller
cut.
found a sped teacher today so we're having those conversations. And we
Okay,
just gotta get her in here and interview her and see where we're at, because
okay,
our numbers are starting to get up there where everybody's maxed out.
right.
So
I
we're
mean,
looking at that. And
Yeah.
sped teachers are hard to find.
No, I
So-
know this, and I know that the FTE, they cap off at 1, I get that, but in my opinion, that's not a true reflection, because although you have a FTE at 1, you have a student that needs 46% of service, and then you have a kid that needs 11% of service, so it doesn't, we don't have enough time, we don't have enough minutes in the day for the people that we have to service these kids, and I'm nervous that if something happens, that's where the lawsuits come from. And we're not gonna be able to service them, and our people are just running ragged, and we're only 6 days in.
We hired a lady too that's coming, looking at all the IEPs, and we're gonna try to get better at that, because a lot of people are just checking the box, so they're getting this service, this service, this
Right.
service, instead of somebody really looking at what the
Right.
kid, the student needs. So
Yeah.
we have people looking at that right now, and we're trying to get on the same page through all of our schools, so
Awesome.
we can streamline this sped process.
I think I'm just nervous because the sped that we have at Tularosa Middle School, I don't know if you guys have seen, but they are amazing. And
Yeah.
I'm just afraid if he continues to get bombarded, I mean,
That's
there's
every
like
school.
13 other schools closer to his house than this one.
Right.
And so,
No,
I'm
and that's
just-
all of our schools.
yeah,
That's statewide, that's nationwide.
right.
It's, that's
So
how
hopefully
come we're
that's a
doing
good
these
one,
other
'cause-
things too.
okay, cool.
But we are paying attention,
Okay, I was just nervous because once that happens, it's hard for us.
and yeah, they're hard to find,
Okay,
and good ones are really hard to find.
that was my question. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, because I got to now. I had countless kids receive an award from the American Poetry. I got it. National American Poetry. I don't know something. I had several. Every year I make my students enter their poetry into this contest that they hold nationally. And I had so many kids get accepted, and their poetry is going to be published. Amanda, help me. What's the name of it? Because your kid was published. She's not
I
helping
can
me.
tell you, but I have the
She's not helping me. Anyway.
Well, she didn't tell Amanda.
She just handed it to me.
Yeah, so I had so many students come so excited that their poems are going to be published in a book. Like they're going to be like recognized as poets, as authors. Published authors.
That's big.
No, it's actually foundation, I think it was. But there was a lot of them, and so I think that we need to celebrate all of our kids' successes, and they were so excited to be recognized.
You want to bring them to a school board meeting where they could
I can
congratulate
gather
them,
them
kind of
up, I can gather them up and come and we can
it'd be a
recognize
great
them.
thing for us to
My fourth grader also.
bring them up, get a picture, and
Nice. Okay, I'll work on that.
recognitions of students and staff. Is that where we're at? On front of you, you have a paper. That's all of the new positions and staff. How many was there? 26, 29?
29 new employees.
And we're still missing a science teacher at Mr. Burke's school, but he has somebody online right now. I think we're fully staffed after that.
After that, we'll be fully staffed until we get to special ed cover.
Yeah, and when we get those FTEs, that'll be easier to cover that too. So. Any questions on the new staff?
I'm sorry, did you want to get Anissa's report? I'm sorry, you always
Is
skip
Anissa
over.
here? Anissa, I'm sorry. You're hiding behind this locker room.
I guess.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We've been pretty busy in the special ed department, and yes, our numbers are up all over district, not just middle school. They're raising in all the schools. They're probably pretty close to over. We have a little wiggle room at the intermediate school and the high school, but the middle school and the elementary are probably either at their FTEs or over their FTEs. We get new students pretty much every day right now. This summer, we had some of our staff this summer come in and do kind of a self-audit review of all the IEPs in the district. And we made kind of a list of the things we're doing well and some of the things we need to work on. And then we had a trainer come in at the beginning of the year, do IEP training with our special ed teachers. So we've had that training. We're looking at those things. We did hire an IEP specialist writer kind of thing to help us writing IEPs and help us make improvements in those processes. We did some verbal de-escalation training with our staff as well as bus drivers. That was one of our in-service days. Today we had some people on the TES campus doing some gate belt training with some of the staff at the TES. And then I've also been working with Region 9. They've hired 2 teachers to service gifted students within the region, within Region 9. So they're coming around, visiting with us, working with us so that we can start making improvements in the gifted program also. So those are some of the things happening in special education.
Any questions for Anissa?
And those are with Region 9, the ones that are gonna come in, was that, you said, like twice a week, or what was
Well,
that?
they haven't got their schedule yet, but there's 2 of them that are working with us.
And we should be getting a gifted schedule too for business.
Yeah, they were in district some today.
Okay. Awesome. Looks like we're in business.
All right. Consideration approval agenda.
Mr. President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the consideration of the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Megan, second.
Yes, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consideration and approval of July 10th, 2024 minutes.
Mr. President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the minutes for the July 10th, 2024 regular board meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Consideration and approval of July check register.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of check register for July 2024. And Mr. Bregler is present if you have any questions.
I have one question, on page 4. For national construction, look at the top of the page, for the sum of $4,000.
They added,
What's that?
one of the portables on the painting. We added
The
the,
track building office.
yeah, yeah.
And the hospital.
That was
And the hospitality
4,000.
room.
Yeah, we didn't have that in the original, and we got there, we're like, oh, we need to paint that and that other building too. So that was the 4,000, I believe that's what it is.
Should be at the top of the page.
Since we ended up painting that one and the other building next to the fine arts.
That's,
We
okay,
ended up painting both of those, and those were on the original quote.
they've got all the others done originally.
And then we ended up coming back with National, and they had to fix our football field. That was bonding.
So
That's what I
maybe-
was,
And I don't know which one that is, but that
That
was
might have
somewhere in
been
that.
the football.
That's
On the
what I
top
was
of
thinking.
5 is 5,500 for
Yes, ma'am.
nationals, and it says football field.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
what he.
There were
that's-
3 add-ons we had
okay. And that's it,
with National, yeah.
okay.
And
That's what it was.
National, just for FYI, they're moving our playground from intermediate, from the middle, elementary to the intermediate. The playground out front,
Yes, sir.
they're moving that playground,
Oh,
over.
really?
We're getting a fence, but
For
we're
preschool.
working on that right now for the preschool kids. So
Gotcha.
we should have that done hopefully in a week. They'll have their own playground eventually
Okay.
for the pre-K.
That's the only question I had concerning, state check statements, so
You want?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, consideration of approval of sixth grade sports.
Yeah. Mr. President, members of the board, I'm not making any suggestions. I've been asked, and this is a policy decision for the board. However, I do want to, I want to give our people here that want to talk a chance to talk. I can tell you what we've done on my side, and with Mr. Castellano, with Sergio. And when we first found out that sixth graders was eligible to play sports, first thing we did was try to start figuring out how we're going to add sixth graders into sports. And our thoughts were, get a sixth grade team and possibly play with Tularosa and Hondo and some of these other schools. But then we get to look at the logistics. And logistics is a big problem. Room in the gym for just to add a team, the sixth grade team, coaching. We have 36 girls out for volleyball right now, and the gym's packed. And so when you start trying to practice an extra basketball team, so it just ain't gonna work, a sixth grade team. So Sergio is literally called, and in front of you, you'll have a list, and I'll share this with you guys if you want to see it. How many schools that play in sixth grade sports? Apparently, Sergio found this out from Sally Marquez at the NMAA. Sixth grade sports have always been eligible to play. I just didn't know that until recently. However, most schools don't do it. And if you look, Alamogordo is one school that does it, are the ones we checked. The ones under it says if needed, numbers needed. The schools, and some of them are small schools, small micro districts usually play sixth graders because they never have enough
Seventh and eighth graders.
Right. So the numbers needed: West Las Vegas, Fort Sumner, Santa Rosa, Moriarty, Mescalero, Cobury, Lordsburg, volleyball only for Lordsburg, Hagerman, Robertson, and Cliff. And that's if they need players. The no that they do not play sixth graders: Hot Springs, Ruidoso, Dexter, Hatch, Eunice, Captain, Texaco, Artesia, Roswell, Estanches, Silver, Portales, Chaparral, Lovington, and Jowl play, let sixth graders run track and cross country. Right now we have, I have the numbers, 17 and 19, 17 seventh graders, 19 eighth graders, so total of 36 kids, possible of 12 cuts. However, 4 of those students could become managers of the seventh and eighth graders, or they could use sixth graders as managers. Personally, my thoughts on the deal is, I think we need to wait. We have an intramural program in sixth graders can play. We have sixth grader parents here tonight that want their kids to play, but if we do that next board meeting, it's gonna be seventh grade parents that got cut. So there's not a win on this deal, and I don't know how we can win, come up to that.
It's a logistics issue
More
more than anything
a
else.
lot. We all had to wait for seventh grade to play sports. You have to wait for your driver's license. You have to wait till 21. You have to wait to get deer hunting the first time. And some of these seventh graders that we have on the teams now have been waiting since kindergarten to play sports in seventh grade, and then personally, I hate to cut any middle schooler at all. I do not like cutting middle schoolers, but I don't know how we play them either. And when you can only play 6 girls in volleyball, and you have they're going to take 12 each, that's hard to get playing time. Just those. You get the basketball. Another problem: how do you play those kids? You can put in a fifth quarter. Well, football is not eligible for sixth grade sports. So my recommendation, if I was to make one, would be to let the students wait another year and use them as managers and let that play. However, it's a policy. That's my recommendation. And we do have some people here tonight. And I want you guys to know, this isn't me against you or you against me or you against the board. This is something that needs to be an open conversation, and everybody's opinion and thoughts should matter. So that's the time we wanted to wait till now for you guys to talk. So who wants to go first, or how do you want to proceed? Did I do that okay? But I'm not making you uncomfortable, I hope, if you want to talk.
We just want to hear whatever you have to say. Does anybody have anything?
I just wish they would have had the opportunity. Like, that's all I want. And I just feel like it would have pushed seventh graders as well, because who wants to lose to a younger classmate? So I feel like we would have seen more out of our seventh graders too. So I think it just would have pushed everybody, like, let's compete. And that was all I really wanted, was just an opportunity, because if they're gonna be counted as middle school students, why aren't they included in opportunities like this? That something that, like, my kid, sports is all she really does. We don't do the e-sports, we don't do any of that kind of stuff, like something else they were trying to push on them, and I'm like, that's just not her thing, like, this is what she wanted. And I know several other girls who were looking forward because they've been competing since they were 8 years old, and they've been like, they're waiting and waiting and waiting for their opportunity. And I know everybody's had to wait till seventh grade as well, so like, I understand and I get that as well, but I just wanted the opportunity for them. And if they didn't make it, they didn't make it, but I just felt like it was something they should have been offered.
I totally agree with you. That opportunity would be amazing, and I just don't know how we do it this year, but if these guys up here tell me we're gonna do it, we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna get it done, so. That opportunity, I didn't even know was possible until.
Yeah.
I had no idea when we started moving to sixth graders. I just thought it was, but I agree with you. That opportunity would be magnificent.
So here's one of my questions is, so this year, do we allow them to start with track?
Yes, we want them to run
Okay,
track.
so this is mainly just trying to figure out, it's really volleyball and basketball at this point.
It's only volleyball and basketball. Football's not allowed to play. Sixth grader would get slaughtered on an eighth grade. You know, seventh and eighth grade team, because you have to mix them all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't cut football because you didn't have big numbers there.
They can't do football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sixth grade, they still have
Yeah.
to participate,
They do that.
so they do develop.
This is a terrible decision for anybody.
Is there even locker room space for the kids?
Well, we'd have the same amount of kids because we'd have to.
You just have to cut
Just
and-
cut, yeah.
and
It'd be the
that's your
same
total
exact
number.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Used to be more cuts.
Yeah. And possibly, most of the sixth graders will be cut anyway. I don't know how many of them can compete with the seventh grader. There's a big age difference, skill difference between a sixth grader and a seventh grader sometimes, so.
There is, but I don't think we push kids nearly hard enough.
And that was a good point Amanda had.
And I think everybody needs to be pushed a little bit. It only makes you better. If they can deal with the fact that if you get cut, well, you gave it your all, but you got cut. I don't have a problem with that at all. I am too. If they can make it, good power to you.
What the policy was.
If they're,
And that's following the other schools. Yeah, and that's just the policy I wrote, just an example policy.
Right now, they're both already gonna have.
If I may, as a parent of a sixth grader coming into the middle school, one of the things she was looking forward to coming up from fifth grade was the fact that she was gonna be able to compete. She was gonna be able to go out for volleyball. She likes volleyball. She's not the greatest player of volleyball, but she was excited that she was gonna be able to go out and, you know,
show what she's got.
show what she's got,
Yes, ma'am.
exactly. So it's like, and until just the other day when, I don't know, overheard someone, her little bubble was so, filled with, oh, I get to compete. And I told her, but remember, you're gonna compete against seventh and eighth graders when it comes down to where you're playing, what you're gonna be doing. And she's like, I know. She said, but, and then she heard, well, we may not be able to play, Mom. She really got deflated. It was like, oh my goodness. And so she's like, well, what am I supposed to do now? So, I have spoken to her about the fact that, well, I know that before we didn't play until seventh grade, but she was, again, it was an excitement for them to be able to, they're in that building that's the middle school. They're considered middle schools.
And they're feeling a little unsure.
Exactly. So, in the end, it's like, well, let them get a feel for it, and if they get cut, they get cut. Of course, they're gonna get cut, because they're
Life is full of disappointments
right.
and challenges, and in my opinion, the sooner they learn that, I think the better off they are.
So I have a son that's a senior in high school, and so like, he came to Thule because Thule offered more as far as athletics goes. So I know like Zane, I was not a part of Zane's life when he was in 6th grade, but if Zane would have tried out, Zane probably wouldn't be making the team as a 7th grader. He was just, you know, he had a lot. He needed to learn a lot. And he came from a single parent home that didn't have the money to go and seek, like, you know, like he wasn't in Tularosa at the time, so they didn't have programs in Cloudcroft where kids could learn basic skills coming into the program. And of course, like at the time, like onsite wasn't a thing, but like onsite definitely is a thing now, and they do offer scholarships, and they do offer like we paid for Zane to do that this summer, but it is expensive coming from a 2-parent home. And we have to remember, like, we're in a Title I community. And so like in my head, I'm thinking, what about the 7th grader that is sitting at the apartments whose mom is a single mom and she's raising 4 kids? She can't afford to send. I mean, we're offering as a 6th grade teacher, and I'm not trying to speak as a teacher, I'm trying to speak as a parent. But like as a 6th grade teacher, like we were paying, as teachers, we were paying for kids to be able to participate in the Tularosa program, much less, you know, on-site. And Danielle and them are fantastic with their scholarships, but like you still have to get those kids to Alamo. And so to say that, you know, 7th graders are coming in, like some of these kids, this is their first opportunity to be able to learn stuff. And I get the whole competitiveness. I am a Tularosa Wildcat through and through. I bleed maroon and white. I want kids, I want state championships, I'm the high school principal, but at the same time, like they have to start somewhere. And if we're taking away low-income students, like I have to like put my Muscalero students in there either. Like some of them don't have that opportunity to come down and participate in Tularosa or go to Ruidoso and participate. So the first time they're seeing a program is in our 7th grade program. I went to school in Tularosa. I did 6th grade in Tularosa Middle School. We did not have that program there. Now they've offered us other things to do that too, but I just have to say from my son, it would have been a possibility. I know Zane's strengths. He's worked very hard to be the athlete that he is now. We're trying to provide him those opportunities, but Brandon couldn't do it on his own. And I did ask permission for Brandon to name on this, and he's like, absolutely, because they did make that move to Tularosa to have a better opportunity in athletics. And I just worried about other kids that necessarily don't have that parental support or the means to go out and get that extra help to do that as well.
Just another point, and Sergio, do you have anything you want to add?
I mean, yeah, I have a lot to say on the thing really, but I mean, we have 6th graders, we're gonna cut about 15 more kids. Mr. Gilbert, you talked about life's full of disappointments or lessons, and one of the lessons is that you have to wait till you're 7th grade. That's why out of the 25 school districts that I talked to, one does not follow the policy that we're proposing. There's a reason why you make them wait. And you know, I've been in those offices where you cut those kids as a 7th grader, and it sucks to cut those kids, and they're in tears, and you have to build them up. And then, I mean, you're talking about 6th graders are what, 11 years old? Some of them are 11 years old, and now they're going on bus rides with 14-year-olds when it's dark in the back of the bus. And yes, that goes back to the coaches. But there's just a lot of things. Going back to the competition thing, yeah, we want to win, but also 7th and 8th grade, we preach fundamentals. We preach learning those steps. And if we're not going to do that, if we're all about winning, take who's the best, then really, if it's volleyball, you could probably take 8 kids and roll with those 8 kids all year long. Because those other kids are those kids that you're just trying to get them minutes where you can. I mean, that's the point, is to build our numbers, to provide opportunities for kids. I understand that we're not providing that opportunity for a 6th grader if we don't allow them to, but that's why we're trying to have an intramurals league and provide them something to do, because it's about keeping kids involved. But we all waited as a 7th grade. There's a reason why other school districts do it. having a sixth grade team isn't an option. No one has a sixth grade team. So it's just cutting that extra amount of kids. And so, I mean, those are just some of the things off my mind.
I would like to piggyback off that, the maturity level from a sixth grader to even a seventh grader, there's a huge difference. So you're opening up to all kinds of just discipline and even coaches having to coach differently. And I know that there are, mature sixth graders and immature seventh and eighth graders, but I just feel like the maturity level, you're mixing kids, and I don't think it's a good idea.
Anybody else?
I think that it's also good to give these sixth graders the opportunity, because then it gives them the opportunity to show what they have. They get to experience this. They get probably cut and they get that opportunity, but there's more of them rather than like the 4 or 5 that they would have to cut. So there's a bigger group. So it's kind of like, oh, there's more of us to sorrow. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, oh, I was only one of the 4 to get cut. Like, that sucks. But if there's a group of them and then they have the experience to go when they try out for 7th grade, and they know what to expect and they have more experience in it, maybe they know, oh, well, I got to work on this for next year. So it's just experience is what I was really seeking out.
I think we should touch on more for the other sports right now, as your track and everything else.
Right.
Because if they get better at that, they'll be probably be better at other sports. And what is the new school going to be for
2 years.
2 years? Because then they'll have a new gym.
Yeah, we'll have more space for sure, but it still will be in the same boat.
Right,
Because,
I understand.
It still comes down to amount of players
right,
that you can keep.
And it's always going to be
and not too many middle schools have a B, C team.
No.
You know, you're lucky to get in
Or that's
varsity
high
anymore.
schools, yeah.
And things that, maybe Jody's caught on. It's about building fundamentals. We really only care about winning varsity. The other ones, even JV, we still building kids up because
Yes.
we do like to win in Tularosa.
We do.
But we like teamwork and we like, the things that sports teaches us.
Right.
The
Teamwork,
sportsmanship,
fair play, right.
keeping your grades up. It's all those things are what's important. Building good people is what we're trying to do, and we do want to do the winning. I love Tularosa for that, but it's a tough decision. So
Well. Does anyone else?
I'll say something. So right now they have to cut about 5 each, roughly. So if you add 15 more girls, now that's 20 girls that are gonna have their hearts broken instead of just those 2. So, and ultimately they have to make that decision. So I don't know, I just kind of think that sucks for them to have to. It already hurts to have to cut that many girls and then to add that many more. Like, that just sucks for all of them.
Yeah.
So you make a motion and second vote on it or
Change it, make a motion.
and that the one I gave you guys is just one that's just a recommendation. We'll have to come back. Either way, however you fix that.
Right under 1 year. That's right. Tryouts is the end of this week. It ends
Tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Tomorrow's the last day for tryouts.
But if you choose this, we'd have to extend that back a little and probably move a game. I don't know how we do that.
Okay. It's.
We'd have to have a right opportunity. There's just no winning here. There's not a nice compromise there anywhere.
I agree. Lose situation.
Yes, it is.
But you guys are, at least you're listening and you're thinking. That's important.
It's pushing back another week.
And you should do that because the other teams are starting already. We don't want to push them.
Yeah, we don't want to, we need to make a decision.
We've got to make a decision.
And then if we had to extend tryouts, we could do that if that's what you guys want.
Because that'll cut their time.
Yep, and it's already a short season in June.
How long, when's our first game, Sergio, for junior high volleyball?
The 27th.
So yes,
Yeah,
it's 13
2 weeks.
That's the first day.
So that's time to, if you decide to do it, there's some time to. And they've already seen the 7th and 8th graders, they could really bring in 6th graders for a couple of days and see what they got.
Yes, sir.
They want to do. There's ways to do that.
Do they already
I wanna look at something like this just because for the future. Let's, I don't wanna say turn the Band-Aid off now, but we'll know for the future if we do it now. Yeah, we might have to extend tryouts for a couple more days, but I wish,
Sorry, one last thing. Physicals. We have to
Oh,
arrange physicals.
yeah, they'd have to do physicals too, because 6th graders last year got a chance for the free physicals, so
So we'd have to call them
we'd
back
have to,
and get
well,
that.
I'd have to go to the doctor.
I think we've only had 3 or 4 turn in physical package from 6th grade.
And think about physicals.
yeah, I didn't either.
They do walk-ins at the urgent care.
Yeah.
Physicals.
The parent, it's on a parent to go get
Yeah,
that physical.
but I'm just saying, like, it's still an option.
Yeah, that's that's very possible they could get one tomorrow afternoon.
So Gilbert, Gilbert, Bender, in the middle school, just give them opportunity. What else?
It's short notice and that's on us. We should have thought of that 2 months ago.
Well, we didn't even know it
No.
until, I want to say somebody found the inmate, and said, oh, they can play. I was like, no, they can't play. Oh, yeah, they can play.
Yeah,
Just most schools don't do it.
it's,
So this is a pretty high season.
No, this is yeah,
Yeah,
we can do
go
an
ahead.
amendment.
right, we'll have to make an amendment to just
I
this.
think
It-
I
What do you think?
numbers are big. I like what Jody said, we are a low income
Yes.
school. Not everyone gets a chance
We're a
to
low-income family.
have a chance to be in a club or, like, you gotta give these kids a chance. At least 7th grade, their first year play sports. Yeah, that's what I feel about it.
I know I told David this on the phone, in Tier C, we had 2 7th grade boys, skinny kids, little kids. And they were gonna cut them, and we're like, no, we're not cutting no kids this year. Those 2 kids went on championship team at 6'3" and 6'5", they're seniors, we cut them in 7th grade. Their chance of them coming back to play again is tough.
Yeah.
But you could find that sample on both sides of it.
Yes, sir.
You can argument that any way you want and find a way to fix your side.
So I also agree with Jody because I have 4 kids and my oldest one, she's in 7th grade this year. So it took her a lot to try to practice this summer, just to be able to play in sports. She waited the whole time just because she wanted to play volleyball. So I think it would just be kind of harder for her for that reason. And trying to get her into clubs and stuff was hard because I have 4 kids, so I just thought I'd mention
I have another question. So if we allow 6th graders to, and it really doesn't pertain to volleyball, but if we let them play 6th grade basketball, and then we have a great program for 6th grade and under basketball here. So are we gonna allow 6th graders to be in that little program? Or are you gonna say, no, you play junior high sports, you can't, or are we gonna nix that for all
I believe
6th
the
graders?
rule, Sergio, they can only play so many quarters a week or whatever.
No, I
How's that
believe I believe they can play simultaneously. I think that it's up to you guys to decide that the interscholastic is the word they use. The school takes precedence over the club or whatever else.
I just
So
don't
there's
want
never conflict.
I'm just afraid then if we go there, are we gonna say all of a sudden these 6th graders are in limbo and they can't play down? And then they can't play junior high?
Never want to do that.
No, but I'm afraid that's what's gonna happen, like, or could happen.
And what about kids who just like to play the intramural sports that don't want to try out for the school team? You know, like, they're like, oh, well, we are not doing the sixth grade team anymore for intramural because now you can go try out for middle school. My son doesn't want to try out for middle school. Like, he just wants to play for fun.
Well, in my opinion, too, it doesn't make it fair for the seventh graders at the time. If seventh grade girls get cut, they can't go join those teams because they're too old. Sixth graders can, so they still get that chance. Seventh graders, their chance is done.
Yeah.
Because they still have juniors for baseball. They have the Alamogordo leagues for softball.
Right.
Our eighth graders can play softball, and baseball with us, seventh graders.
But just like for sixth graders, so for.
Little league.
We had sixth graders last year, whenever I was refereeing, played for the Tularosa leagues. It's just volleyball, I think, is the only one that doesn't have something for sixth grade. And that's where we're going to do it, because we have everything else for the sixth graders,
Right.
excluding volleyball. But they do have the opportunity for onsite to try out for those teams rather than just the school. So it's just.
The tryouts are already done for that as well, though.
Are they?
Yeah, we already had them last weekend.
One more thing, I know that it's not up to us because of the NMAA rule, but you guys are talking about providing opportunity for sixth grade girls. What about our males? Our males aren't getting any opportunity to play as a sixth grader. So why are we doing it for the girls but not the boys?
Well, the boys can go and play football still in
Little league football.
Right.
But if we're doing it as a school, we have to provide an opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it's going to open up the can of worms.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just, not everybody's gonna be happy. But the next generation, everybody got a chance.
Yes. This is what I've listened to. Now, it's in the back of my mind is sixth graders. And it's generally only females, it's still sixth graders, you know, on trips. That does bother me. Really does. But I think, in my opinion, this is the because if you're gonna have intramural, how many are you gonna have? Are we gonna be enough? There's a lot, there's gonna be a lot more. As the years go on, it's gonna just add and add and add.
Can I just make a comment real quick? I just feel like if you make a decision, like a spur decision tonight, there's a lot of unintended consequences that are gonna come from that. I feel like it's a decision that needs to be made next year. Heck, we're still trying to figure out how to house all of the sixth graders, right, at the middle school. Why can't this be a decision that's tabled tonight, and then you have a year to work out the logistics for sixth grade sports? I mean, like the whole, what are you gonna do about the middle, sixth grade boys versus girls? Those are unintended consequences that if a decision is made tonight, you're not gonna be able to make those decisions. Heck, you don't even have.
The genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah, you don't even have physicals for many of these kids. And yes, while urgent care is available, do the parents have the means to get them there within a matter of 2 days to get that taken care of? That's one of those unintended consequences that many people might not have. I mean, that's not enough notice for a lot of people. So I just feel like my perspective would be, let's smooth out the whole school situation, table it for tonight versus, for sports for their regard, and then, work out the logistics. You have a year to figure all those out.
Or you make a decision policy, and you change policy.
Yeah, we have to make a decision on this regardless of that.
Yeah.
if we
We need it easy.
and I don't want to go that route, but I don't think our hands are tight. It's just too much, but too much.
Things I just don't know.
Yeah.
I think I don't. I really
No,
don't.
because, I mean, that's on the coaches, that's on parents, then we've made that decision, well, then the ripple effects has already started, so. I think so. Yeah, till we see how this goes. I think, I really do.
Yeah, we can always change the policy, you know, if you want to do it a day later day. No, and we don't have policy to play on this. Yeah.
That's gonna be something that's gonna be.
Every, all of our handbooks say seventh and eighth grade.
Yes.
So that's not going to have to do this, we can. This is a policy decision either way, too.
Yes.
Or not, and you can change that policy anytime you want.
Yeah.
That's
Put it to a vote?
Yep. Motion to amend or to, what do you have?
Go
with the one that I sent you.
Yes, with the one that's existing.
And that, yeah, that's just something we made up, so we have it.
Yes,
It's not existing, it's a new policy. Nobody wants to make that.
Well,
they don't want their name.
No. Unfortunately, with heavy art, I say we're gonna have to table it for 6 months. 2 years to see how this goes, so keep it as is.
I don't think tabling it's, I think you're just gonna have to make decisions, say no to this.
Instead of saying no tonight, yeah, but
And
to
go and then-
revisit it down the road.
Then come
if
back
need
when
be.
you,
Yeah,
if you ever figure the logistics out, how we can do it.
yes, sir. It's just too short time.
So we have to stick with this one if they're needed.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to have a motion on it.
All motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Naomi?
I can hear my mind made up.
Motion passes. Consideration approval of school handbooks.
Yeah, Mr. President, members of the board, we have two handbooks up for approval tonight, the middle school and the high school. And we do have the principals of both schools to, and we'll start with Jody. Just for the revision, some of the schools have so much new staff, some of the handbooks aren't done because we don't have the right staff, just in the handbooks yet. But there have been a couple policy changes that, and we're trying to get the schools on the same, you know, or one policy at the middle school matches the policy at the high school, they're right on the same rules. So any changes, Jody, you want to?
So at the high school handbook, we added Chance Coates as the assistant principal, and we added PTE director on Sergio's name. And then we only made changes to our disciplinary rubric, and it wasn't the level 1, 2, or 3, but into level 4. And it wasn't throughout the whole one, it was when we got into sexual harassment, fighting, assault on a staff or student verbally, and knife as a possession, we moved it from 3 days OSS to 5 days OSS, and then we went on with 9 days OSS pending long-term suspension hearing. And then a third infraction, we put 9 days OSS pending expulsion hearing versus a 3, 5, and then a 9 day. And then on the fourth infraction, because if we go into an expulsion hearing and the hearing officer says, no, they can come back to school, before I had that totally blank on there, because in my head I was thinking in the third infraction, they should be expelled, but they do have the right to a hearing. So if they come back to school and have a fourth infraction, I also put another 9 days OSS pending expulsion hearing. And then on the level 5s, It's the same thing with, vandalism, sexual misconduct, alcohol, drug, tobacco, use, distribution, possession, on the same thing. If they go to a hearing and they come back to school, the third infraction is a 90-day OSS pending expulsion hearing, and then I also added the fourth infraction into the chart. And then it was just cleaning up a little bit of the language, and those were the ones that I struck out. And so, like, for example, student driving privileges on campus. I had student driving onto campus. Parking is a privilege, so I actually just struck out parking. And so now it just says student driving onto campus is a privilege. But other than changes, it was really just that level 4, moving it from 3 days to 5 and a 5 days to 9, and then adding in the language.
Right.
Okay. I was under.
Threatening us to stop.
Yeah. Just surprised that there's more than 3 offenses allowed.
Well, and we've never gotten to that in the
Right,
last.
I would assume, I would hope not, but yeah.
I just wanted in there for a protection, because at the high school, when we're meeting with a kid, we very much go with like, this is what's in the handbook. We don't kind of willy-nilly it, and it's because when the kid is in the office, we go and we open up our handbook and we're like, this is what it says.
Yes.
Because we've had students say, well, we've heard that so-and-so only got, and we're like, oh, no, everybody gets the same. So, we just wanted in there as a protection that if something ever came up, it could be like, you don't have any consequences.
Right, for legality reasons.
And I do have a discretionary writer in there, but I don't like to use that one. I like it to be like, here it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Any questions
Read the
for
rest.
Judy?
I read last year, so if those were the only changes, then.
Yeah.
It's a lot less changes this year. It was
Yes,
just a lot of cleanup in the past 3 years, but I feel like we have a handbook that we're really, really happy with. And Daniel and I have been working a lot with each other on making it consistent through his school and the high school.
That'll help.
Yeah. It's terrible to have,
Yeah.
And then this year also, we did agendas for the kids instead of just getting the little books for handbooks. So the kids have agendas, and then at the front of their agenda is the handbook. But since the changes weren't approved just yet, we printed it off with what it was with the strike throughs and then what we were changing it to. So then we were kind of like, if it doesn't get approved, then we can say we're sticking with the strike throughs on that one. So even the kids, when they're going through the handbook, they can see what it was and then what it is now.
Yeah.
So they're not taken off guard either.
Okay.
Ms. Burke, any
Well,
changes you need to?
Ms. Hill and I have we worked a lot earlier last year when I came on to change those rules there in regards to disciplinary actions for the middle schoolers and the high schoolers combined. One of the things that I really did point out that I wanted to mention, I mentioned it to you, to Shelley and or Ms. Latoya and you, Mr. Lindsay, was that we had 2 different areas of sexual harassment. And that was concerning to me because one sexual harassment was student versus student, and it was just 1 day of ISS was the first offense, a verbal warning and ISS. And the other sexual harassment fell under where it was staff on student, student on staff, student on student, where it was a 3-day OSS. It was just really kind of confusing to me as an administrator, not really understanding. In the event there was a sexual harassment, which there was one that occurred, which one do I go with? That was the biggest question I had. So I wanted to kind of combine one and just make one or the other and just put them all together. That would have been one of my suggestions. The other big change that I wanted to make was cell phones. And I know that this was what Ms. Hill and I talked about, cell phones at the middle school. I would just like for students just to keep them out of the classroom. Keep them out of their pockets. Do not have them on their body at all during the school day. I've already caught one student with a cell phone in their pocket out of recess just the other day, confiscated a cell phone. I'm still gonna adhere to the 3-strike rule, where first strike, the student, we confiscate the cell phone, sign it in, the student checks out at the end of the day. The second offense, the parent comes and gets it. Third offense, the parent, we either keep it or the parent takes it home, the student never brings it back. Okay, now I do, as you all probably are well aware and have heard in the past from parents and other students, that I do work with the parents when it comes to students who play sports or who walk home. I do not want to be the individual who's going to be responsible for confiscating that phone and then never allowed to have that phone after school. Okay, because when they do travel, I want them to be able to have that phone to communicate with their parents after school hours. Okay, so I do work with parents and I do work with students when it comes to that. That's one of the biggest changes that I did as well. We did add some verbiage to it in regards to bringing in 6th grade to the middle school, but those are the biggest changes. That was the biggest change that I wanted to make, was the change to the cell phone policy.
Thank you, Ms. Burke.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consideration approval of new domestic partnership policy for school insurance.
Mr. President, members of the board, recommend approval of the new domestic partnership policy for school insurance. You guys should have a copy. We sent you a copy. It's just simply stating we have 3 couples that are long-term. They're married, but they're not married.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of schools do this, and it's just something they can add them to their insurance, so they can be covered under insurance. The insurance company does allow it.
Dale,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Lars, board report and cafeteria updates.
Mr. Bregler is present for all.
All right, so for the bars, we just had 3 bars on there. What they were budgets that didn't get through the PED process of getting approved, so we have it at the beginning of the year. So I had to do initial budget bars for those 3. Board report will be back on next month, still trying to get all the budgets entered into the accounting system. Cafeteria, things are starting out well. Jesse is working on incorporating more from scratch cooking. It's kind of a big area that they're really working towards. One thing they're doing at the high school is they're going to be having pretty soon, I believe, frozen beverages, organic beverages. The equipment we got for free, with the stipulation we have to buy the product from a certain vendor. I can't remember the vendor. And then they actually will probably sell them in the fast track, but it is an option to add it on and include it in a reimbursable meal. So maybe once in a while they'll include it as an additional thing. Like I would assume in place of fruit or something, because it is like 100% fruit.
That was my question.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the other thing, through the equipment grant we got a couple of not really salad bars, but kind of similar to that. Then one thing we're going to use them for at the middle school and high school, they're going to, a menu item is going to be a ramen noodle bowl, where they'll get like the noodles, a protein broth, and then you can go to the bar and put any toppings on they want.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's going to be it for the older kids at the middle school and high school. I think that was all I had.
When you go check out the kids.
I'll let you know when we're having those. I think they'll be really good.
Back to school. You know what? From back to school, what I've observed, I've been out and about a lot. Everything seems to be going really, really good. The atmosphere in the schools are awesome. I think
intermediate schools
it's come along. Actually, Shelley and Miss Muller spent a lot of time there helping new staff and helping Dr. Rockmore get rolling, and Rebecca, Miss Norris back there and Monica. I see Monica there somewhere back there in the back. So we've had a lot of staff over there helping them with the changes, and a bunch of times they have come up to Mr. Bert, so we help kids open lockers, and that's been a challenge. A couple kids led the bus. The buses are finally got their sync in going. Miss Science brought me a issue tonight that I'll work on tomorrow for her. So everything seems to be going good, unless you guys have seen something we need to pay attention to or work on.
The other thing that was, somebody brought to my attention last week was just a lot of the new students coming into the middle school, and it's a little crowded, but I said, it's, first day, let the process work itself out. So it sounds like it is working towards what we're looking for. So that was the only thing that I've heard thus far.
Anybody have anything you want to say? How do you guys feel it's going? Back to school. Thumbs up, thumbs down. That's something.
Yeah, got quiet all of a sudden.
6.3, Mr. Green, the school board president, passed away a couple weeks ago. His funeral is this weekend. I don't know if anybody's planning to attend. He was a great man, and they won every school board award you could ever imagine. He was a good leader of that. So. Yeah, he's the one that had to deal with some thought problem.
Next meeting.
September 11th. I'll be out of work that day, but I'll be here for the board meeting. Mr. Bregler will be at the ASBO.
Right, conference, but
He can zoom in or phone in, or my wife's getting a knee replacement that day.
Oh, really?
So you may be cut.
Yeah, it might be, yes, sir.
I got some money. But anyway, I'll make it to the board meeting.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
You guys, thank you all for coming.
Thank you, everyone.
That's the most we've ever had in boardroom.
Oh, just stack them right there, guys. It's fine. We'll take care of it in the morning.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah.